Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. So, uh, just before I get into the presentation, just a quick introduction about our company, iLink Digital, and then it's comprised of family of different entities, each one of them focusing on specific technologies. In that way, I come from Purple Slate, and then what we do, we specialize in conversational AI related technologies, primarily, involving natural language processing and of late, a lot of generative AI stuff. So a little bit about myself, and then, I'm the co-founder of this company, and, pretty much a significant portion of my time, I spent building technology in the Wall Street. Um, um, Specific areas of expertise, very much passionate about data, BI, and data science, machine learning models, and all that, right? Um, so what we are going to talk about today, it's around the data storytelling and how we could apply technologies, or rather concepts around generative AI, for storytelling within the data. So basically, I'll also show a demo of our platform, and then just to help you better understand what we, some of the concepts which I try to explain today. It's what generative AI, and especially the conversational AI, kind of, have opened up within the business intelligence world, is moving away from reports and dashboards and a metrics based approach. Now, users have the ability to have a conversation with data. Rather, I can ask questions like, hey, show me um, uh, which region is doing well on particular product, or hey, what is really contributing to this particular defect or these errors. Any kind of questions on data, perhaps, we can engage in a conversation. And also, using generative AI concepts, we can construct a response back rather than getting a number as an output. Now you have an ability to construct a response back, which is more descriptive, which kind of explains the question, or explains the answer a lot more in a descriptive way. And of course, when we are dealing with numbers, obviously, that the response need not be just numbers and text. It can also be visuals. So you also have the ability for generative AI based application to respond back in visuals, right? So those are all some of the the concepts and examples, I'll just cover today. So, right, I'm sure, all of you would be very much familiar with what's happening with, with all the craze and hype around Chat GPT, OpenAI, and almost every company is trying to leverage the possibilities around, generative AI, and what we call as a post GPT world, right? So what exactly, just if you're an expert in this domain, and then, so just forgive me if I'm restating some of the obvious, but for just to set the context, what exactly is generative AI? These are basically, what we call as the large language models that are trained on very, very large volume of data. Now, which helps you. When you ask a question, it kind of responds back in a very, very generate, descriptive way, right? Um, and in fact, can we really apply these similar concepts, even for data? So if I have a large corpus of data set, whether it is a simple Excel sheet or very large data warehouses, can I ask a question on the data set, for the models to respond back? So while the generative AI, the chat GPT have been, extremely popular, or rather lots of use cases have been built around the content or textual aspect of it. From the numbers perspective, I think, there are different techniques being evolved, used, not necessarily a generative AI based stuff, mainly because of one factor, which is the LLMs or the generative AI, I mean, they have a very high tendency of, hallucinating, meaning the responses could be different on different instances, right? So which may not be the desired outcome for business intelligence or a number based answer. So I mean, there is no way, we can say the my credit card balance could be $10,000. Obviously it has to be, a specific number, right? So that's why the generative AI based approach for business intelligence, while it is being tried as a possibility, but the usage of it is still very, very less, right? So that's where, I'm going to talk about certain areas of, I mean, certain ways in which, we still achieve a similar outcome, for business intelligence, right? So again, just to set the context on what exactly is generative AI, and then, if you really look at it, this is again, one definition from Gartner. It's um, they work on a fundamental principle called reasonable continuation. Basically, they help you finish a text. When we ask a question, you can even say, you can go to either Bard or OpenAI and all that. You can see the response getting really typed or generated. It's basically because the next word in that sentence is basically getting generated based on the probability of occurrences of, these the similar text, within a very, very large corpus and all that, right? So these fundamentally, they operate on a concept called large language models. There are so many versions of it. I mean, it's like llama to lambda to bird. I mean, there are like so many of them which are available today. And then you can also, if either use something like Microsoft OpenAI and all that, or there are also instances of it where say for example, we build our OpenAI models, it's built on top of llama, and then you can use that along with your own corpus, and then build your own version of LLMs and all that, right? um, and some little more context in terms of specific to today's topic around the storytelling and then data storytelling, right? um, why are we even talking about it? I think, just to help you set some context around the problem space, right? It is information access is still very, very, challenging. I mean, large organizations, especially, they spend a significant amount of time and effort building, data warehouses, business intelligence application, various reporting and dashboard. Despite all that, I think, there is still a challenge, for users to locate information or what they're really looking for. And then that there are some statistics like what I have mentioned here, where users do spend a significant amount of their daily, I mean, time, looking for information, right? And also what we call is a big data fallacy. While digitization has resulted in companies accumulating very, very large volume of data, the amount of data that is really quote unquote useful, it's still a very, very small portion of it. So most of the time, the problem is actually locating that signal, from noise. I mean, so it's like locating that small piece of information or that red dot, which is the relevant or the useful information. How do we locate this within the very large corpus of data, most of the enterprises have, right? So, and also there is one thing, which is basically what we call is it's the traditional BI tools. I mean, while most of the other services what we consume today have been become very, very, I mean, it's becoming like a very fast-paced world. um, Still the information access or the tools we use to produce information still have to be have to match to that pace. I mean, rather than spending or rather, most of the BI or the dashboard work still happen as projects, and then taking a significant amount of time to produce a new metric or produce a new dashboard. Rather, can there be a better way to match the pace of this modern world, right? I think